Kevin and I follow it. We monitor the web. Kevin spends a lot of time on Capitol Hill. We get email blasts from Capitol Hill informing us of new regulations, discussions. The regulations come at huge pace. Again, 10,000 pages or more so far. So a lot of it, you ascertain things not necessarily because you've read it yourself, but because the Scuttle in Washington, one of your colleagues says, be aware that there is this change coming that's on page 4,733 of these things. So there are a lot of ways you can keep up. There are a lot of ways we have to keep up.
Before the election, there was probably about 4 months of what I would call dark period. There was a stop in the rollout of new regulations, anything that could be controversial or could have a price tag attached to it. Since then, we are dealing with what even the IRS has termed a wave of guidance and regulations. So we continue to digest and put information into our resources as we interpret those. Perhaps the most important outstanding regulation is that one that deals with from the IRS that deals with employer-employee, seasonal, part-time, full-time equivalents, etc. And once we get that, we will lay it out there. In the helpful resources section of the webinar, I've included a couple links. One is to the HHS regulations website. I find that one not very well organized or helpful, but there also is an IRS IRS regulation site that's a little bit better organized and has some helpful links there. Finally, I put our NFIB.com healthcare page there, and I also put a couple relevant articles for changes that occur next year.
And let me just stress, you can listen to us, learn things, we'll push you in the right direction very often, but ultimately, the people you actually pay, your accountants, your attorneys, your brokers, those are the people who really have the fiduciary responsibility and are going to know a lot of the fine print that we simply don't have the time and staff to go through. So, and things are going to vary from one state to another as well. So just make sure you keep in very, very close touch to these professionals whom you pay to help run your business.
All right, great. There's more questions. Do you count employer's salary in the employer small business tax credit?
No. There are certain people who are excluded from getting the credit, but also you don't count them as far as numbers of employees or the average wage. So the owner's family, and we were talking this morning, a very broad set of family members, brothers, sisters, children, grandchildren, parents, uncles, aunts, stepbrothers, brothers-in-law, sisters-in-law, all of these, they're sort of taken out of the equation right at the start. So, nope, you don't. And you can't claim the credit for the owner either.
Can you explain more about the employer definition? If an individual owns 100% in one company and 50% in another company, do they fall under a large employer? If the